Okay, folks, welcome to another GD podcast. I'm your host, Guy DeMarco, and I've got like a conundrum of stuff going on right now. I've got a mic, I've got my phone, and all this crazy stuff. So, folks, welcome to another GD podcast. I'm your host, Guy DeMarco. This week, we're going to talk a little bit about the MPA Spring Shootout that I just attended in Swainsboro, Georgia. It was a really good match. I really had a lot of fun. It was the best two-day performance that I've had in this is my second full year of shooting PRS matches. But I had a lot of fun and it was really good, and I want to talk about it. So if you see me looking down, it's because I'm looking at my computer, looking at a little bit of notes as well as my performance. So I actually keep all of my scores in an Excel program because I'm a huge nerd and that's what I do. So if you see me referencing this on the YouTube, just know that that's what it's doing, or what I'm doing anyways. So 20 stages, pretty cut and dry on match layout. If you've been to Swainsboro, you know that Eric and Jill are continually building onto that area and doing great things. They're continually adding new props and new positions and new challenging lanes of fire for the shooters. It's though it's a square range, they make really good utilization of the property and some of the lanes of fire that they have, between the mover, the different berms that they have, the different props that they have. It's when you go there, you're always going to see something different. They're always trying to, as they say, improve their fighting position. So I got my two matchbooks here. I'm not going to go over every stage. I'm going to go over probably 2 or 3 stages, and then we'll roll into the match interviews that I conducted on site at Cool Acres. So real quick, it was a 205 round match. There was 117 shooters. I ended up placing 65th overall, and 5 out of 10 for production. I actually got all of that here, so I'm just going to run through that real quick. So production, I was 5 out of 10. For military, I was 10 out of 16th. And because I am now qualified as a marksman, I was 11 out of 15th. So not terrible on those stats, but 5 out of 10 production shooters, I consider that pretty good for myself. With that, it was Keith Rudersell who won production. It was Laura Aikenhead, and then Doug Cohen, and then a gentleman named Kenneth. I can't remember his last name, but he also beat me only by a couple of shots. I think we were within 10 of each other, so I was pretty happy with that. I ended up scoring 142 impacts of my 197 rounds fired. Timed out a couple times, but that's been my best finish thus far, points wise. Not necessarily placement, but point wise, 142 is my new benchmark for my performance. That means I had a 71% or 71 average day. How am I saying that? I scored 71 points each day. So I basically shot the exact same score 2 days in a row. Day 1, I got a 71. Day 2, I also got a 71. So I was able to hold on to the consistency that I've laid out. I'm about a 70% shooter at the moment. So I generally drop 30 a day on any one day. Here recently in the last probably 6 to 7 one days that I've shot, they've all been in about the 70% range. So I'm happy that I'm at least staying consistent. Now, hopefully I can proceed and get a little bit better. So overall, the match. Friday, train up day wasn't too bad. I got there a little late. Did some stuff, went out to dinner, normal match stuff. Saturday morning, we rolled in, and it had been raining all night long. We had a pretty good slow-moving rainstorm, and it pretty much washed out the roads. Lots of deep ruts, lots of slipping and swerving all over the about 2 miles of dirt roads going into Cool Acres. So that was fun to traverse in my small SUV that is not 4-wheel drive. So a little bit of trouble there. It rained for the first stage, I would say, and then kind of misted and drizzled for the remaining 2-3 stages, and then it pretty much stopped raining, and then the wind came in. So because they were worried about the weather and what it was looking like, we ended up starting with the day 2 matchbook because everything was a little bit closer in distance. That way they were worried about visibility. So we shot day 2 first, not a big deal. I ended up getting 2 cleans that day. My worst stage was a 3. So nothing crazy. Nothing crazy on the day. Nothing crazy as far as blunders or anything like that. For day 1, I would say that I felt the most comfortable on stage 14, which is the Cool Acres barricade. It was basically 2 targets, the big small at 495 yards, from 5 positions. You just couldn't use the top post as a position. So that was probably my favorite stage of the day, as far as, shooting good, but also having fun. I felt the most stable, most connected to my gun, everything like that. The stage that I want back is going to be the MPA barricade. I'm not saying it was an easy stage, but 385 small to big, 9 rounds. I ended up shooting a 3. I tried something I've never tried before, which is tall tack table rear. I should have probably just gone tripod rear instead, or just shot it off a bag like a man, like I normally do. But that cost me quite a bit of points. Stability was an issue. I was really upset with myself after that stage. So that was stage 13, and I rolled right into a clean. So I was able to clear my head and get back in the game. But that stage for day 1 really, really bothered me, and I really wanted to get that one back. As far as, some other stages, I think everything else was pretty decent. Another stage that I liked, that I didn't necessarily do bad nor good on, I got a 6 on it, 6 out of 10, was 853 yard diamonds, TYL, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, change positions, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Did another tack table rear, but it was lower, so I just felt more comfortable with it. And even though I said I wasn't going to do something like that again, I actually kind of stepped off to the side and made sure that everything was set up the right way, how I wanted it, and then ended up getting a 6. And I say I enjoyed that stage because I saw every single one of my misses. I missed, I'd make a correction, I'd go. If the wind change or it dies off or picks up or whatever, I'd spot the miss and then re-engage and hit the target. I did hit the smallest target on that TYL, so I felt pretty good about it, and continued to do pretty well on that stage. As far as day 2 goes, I didn't write them down in my book, but as far as day 2 goes, I felt pretty good. Starting the day, it was much windier on day 2 than it was on day 1, and I feel that how I performed, I liked that challenge pretty well. I didn't want just a straight up no wind match. I wanted there to be some wind, and it was definitely the case. It was the first time shooting the new PRS barricade. 5 positions. I did it in 80.74 seconds. I ended up getting a 9. I dropped 1 shot. It was target 10, and it went at about 11 o'clock. I've got some bullet issues. About 3 out of every 100, so 3% of my bullets, I have an unexplained miss. I don't know what happens. I do the same hold, I do the same everything, and I just miss the target. I don't know. I haven't been able to 100% track that down, but I feel pretty confident that it's not a limiting issue at this point for me. I don't like the fact that I'm getting three random shots out of 100, but until I can actually like maybe narrow it down or improve my shooting where those 3 shots are winning me a match, maybe I'll focus on it then. But no, I think I had a pretty good day too as well. I just had one stage that just really got to me, and it was the long range stage out of the helicopter. It was 2 positions, walk it out from I think 600 to 1,000, 1 shot each, move position, 1 shot each. This was out of the helicopter. I decided to go modified prone out of the bottom, rear bag and bipod. Thinking about it again, I would not do that. I would just bag it out of the rear. I don't think that the stability was an issue. It was between a bag and a bipod, picking either or. I just think it was a dialing and quick paced type of stage. And I don't know what I did, but I got in my own head. I got super flustered. I asked somebody for advice right before the stage started, and I normally don't do that. And for some odd reason, I didn't go with my game plan. I tried to write out a dope card for the different winds based on mile an hour, like I've talked about doing in previous episodes. But when I was capturing the wind, I forgot to capture target direction, so everything I had was wrong. So I tried to flip the card over and rewrite it really quick, and it wasn't working out. So then I just took a quick snapshot of the wind, what it was doing. The wind was trending between 4 and 8 miles an hour all day long. I called it a 6 mile an hour and went up there, and it was pretty close to a 6. It was probably between 4 and 6. And I blew everything off the left side, couldn't see my misses, shot the wrong target, and then shot it again, but never corrected my dope. And then the only impact that I got was at 1,000 yards. And I literally just spun it to 1,000 through I think 7/10 of wind and engaged it, and I hit it. And I was like, okay, at least I got a point. I didn't zero. Went back down to the closest target after I moved and proceeded to miss, and then I timed out. Super frustrated. If I could get a stage back, that's the stage that I want back on day 2. Super frustrating. I timed out at F3, so I never even got F3, 4, or 5. So the last 3 shots, I only got 7 shots off. Didn't see misses. I was in my head. Bad wind management. Kind of a disaster of a stage. And then went over to the cool move, which was stationary target mover, and was having some trouble over there. I don't know what it was, but it seemed like things that were right there in the center of the range, right there on the concrete pad, is where I was having trouble throughout the match on both day 1 and day 2, and was just having trouble. Had some major wind pickup when we shot piano keys. I dialed 3 in the gun, held center, pulled the trigger, and saw a miss, a mill off left, and saw the miss, made the correction, but trying to go through the movement, see the misses, make the corrections, not outrun my ability to see and make good corrections. I ended up timing out on that one as well. But I did have some really good stages. I say the new skill stage was good for me. I got a 9 on that one. Pipe stacker, it was 4 rounds from 3 positions, 345 and 600 yards, and some small targets. There were 2 small targets up front and 2 medium-sized targets at 600 yards at an angle, shooting into the wind primarily. So I think I dialed 2/10 in the gun and then held center and then maybe favored a little bit to the right, favored yeah, we were shooting against the wind, dialed 2 right, held a little right, ended up getting, I dropped 1 and I timed out on my last shot, but I felt really good about it. I had good movement. I had good connection with the rifle. I felt good about everything. And then we shot a cattle gate. The target was, I jokingly referred to it as a sedan door. It was a very large target. It was at 615 and 2 shots from 5 positions on the cattle gate, no repeat. I thought open up at 5. Once again, I did what I shouldn't have done and asked, what mile per hour, not what he held, but what mile per hour he thought the wind was out there, and he told me 3/10 of wind, and I should have just stayed with my game plan because I opened up at a quarter and dumped it right off the right hand side. So I ended up going with the 5/10 and then ran the rest of it, got a 9. And then Old Blue out of the back of the truck, out of the Sears delivery truck. This one, I'm glad. This was probably my favorite stage of the day, and the reason for that is because I have had a problem with dialing up, dialing down, dialing up, dialing down when it's different targets. I identified that as a deficiency, I think, last year at one of the matches. I think it was K&M, where I got confused and dialed the wrong way and like brain freeze and ended up timing out because I was confused. But this was 9, 7, 850, 1,000, and 800 in that order. 2 shots each, pretty decent sized targets. But I ended up getting an 8. I dropped the first round off the side of the target on the 900-yard target, made my follow-up shot, and then I missed one at the 1,000-yard target, saw it, and then ended up hitting it on my follow-up shot. So spotting my misses, making good corrections, and then ensuring that I'm dialing the proper way. Those things made for a positive experience on that stage, but the whole match was fun. There wasn't a stage that I didn't like. I didn't think, oh, this is stupid, or this isn't practical, or he's just trying to like get us to drop points or be mean or anything like that. None of that. I thought everything was an appropriate stage or good target or good layout or good transition. There wasn't anything that was super crazy. We shot off a bunch of different props that are non-standard, like heavy equipment. So like a stump grinder for the front of a Bobcat, and then a set of forklifts for a Bobcat, and out of the helicopter, off the roof, both sides of the bus, all kinds of really, really good positions, good target sizes, good changeup of targets. So I think that as a season opener for myself, this is the first 2 day I've shot this year. I feel that it was a strong open. Now, what does everybody else think? I don't really know. I don't really care. I've gotten a lot of feedback from people saying, hey, super good. Excuse me, super good job, XYZ. I'm not saying that it's in one ear out the other. I say thank you for the compliment. Thank you for engaging with me. But at the same time, I don't want to get high on my own supply. And I don't want to be like, oh man, I really screwed that up. I'm trying to stay positive in the process, but not get too overinflated, because you never know what the next match is going to hold. My next match being a 1 day down in South Florida. Then I'll be going to Alabama Precision, and then I'm going to Texas. So I've got some big major matches coming up with some solid shooters showing up. So I don't want to sit there and be like, oh yeah, I'm the bee's knees. I'm gonna crush it, because you never know what might happen. I'm confident that I'll be able to perform. I'm just hoping that I'll be able to perform well, and that's going to be based on my practice, my preparation, and knowing that the match has already started. And you got to own it every day. How many other catchphrases can I put in here? So hopefully you guys enjoyed my little 20-minute rant here about the match. Food, once again, great food. They had smoked pork butt, pulled pork sandwiches on Saturday, and then we had some smoked chicken on Sunday, and that was amazing. So really enjoyed that. I can't remember the name of the cooks that came out, but if you listen to the last MPA podcast that I did, I think I got their name put in there on that one. So stay tuned. I got 3 interviews coming up next. So stay tuned, pay attention to those. And then my last shout out would be to MPA, Masterpiece Arms. I was able to secure somebody walked the table as an RO and gave me their prize because she's a good friend of mine. But I got one of those new mag. It's right here. I got a new mag block that's super cool. So now, like, it's got something that actually goes into the barrel to show that it's clear, but it retracts and goes in and out. So now I can put this in as my mag block, and I'm super excited because I've wanted one of these for a while. And then second shout out would be Area 419, because I got myself a new Hellfire match, Hellfire match 308 break. I had a sidewinder on my 308 and I took it off because somebody else needed it on one of the numerous pages. So I sold it to them and I needed a new one and I was going to buy one anyways. So I got that. So I just saved myself some money. So thank you, Area 419. Thank you, Masterpiece Arms, for supporting the PRS and supporting the prize tables throughout the year. Much appreciated to you. Stay tuned. Listen up. Got interviews coming next. There we go. And that. All right. I am joined here with an average shooter, but a great friend and lovable jokester. We just finished the MPA match down here at Cool Acres in Swainsboro, Georgia. We had a little bit of everything as far as weather goes. We had rain, we had a shit ton of mud, and we had a lot of wind, and then a little wind, and then we had mirage, and then we had no mirage, and then we had more wind. So it was a good match.
What about the wind changes?
And the wind changes, the pickups and the let-offs, and yeah, it was everything.
Someone hit with 0.8. Someone hit with 1.7.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a doozy. So I got Herb Ludlam.
Ludlam, you got it. Nailed it.
South Florida boy. Of course, I got to have my South Florida boys on the show. So how was your match?
Yesterday was fantastic. Today, I feel like I shot well the whole weekend, but today definitely gave up some points. I think like a lot of people did. But, really felt solid about it. The wind got me like it got everybody this weekend on the stages. That's really where I lost it. But I
mean, it didn't get everybody. It was people in the 190s, right?
It makes me feel better, okay? Just make me feel better. Yeah. Going in this weekend looking for a top marksman and missed it by about 7 shots. So.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Ouch.
And that was the one stage yesterday that I just couldn't find it, and those were my impacts right there.
Okay. Who ended up getting?
It looks like so far
Coker? Yeah. He was doing really good yesterday. So.
Yeah, he was. I told him this morning he was 3 ahead of me. I said, I'm coming for you, Coker. And I guess he took that as a challenge.
Yeah.
So
he turned it on because he was ahead of us, and I was watching him. And he was turning it on.
Yeah.
So. Where do you know where you finished? I mean, there's people still shooting, so there might be a little movement, but top 50, low 50?
Oh, yeah, no, top 50. Right now, I was sitting at 32nd. I just checked again. Obviously, people still shooting. I'm down to 34. I doubt I'm going to fall below 50. I'm hoping to stay in the mid-30s somewhere. Probably it's probably one of my best 2 days so far.
This is my best 2 day.
Yeah?
I'm going to say that continually for a very long time.
Congratulations. We got to see where the scores come in percentage-wise, but it probably is my best 2 day. Yeah, we'll see.
So, and I told Eric that. I was like, either I'm getting better or your matches are getting easier.
Can it be both?
Can it be both? Can it be both? And I was like, no, it was because he wants the feedback, so I'm telling him it was a good match. And then, I mean, there were some really good people that showed up to this match. Mm-hmm. So if you're anywhere in that top 40 to 50 ballpark, saying that you're doing good things.
Yeah,
we
I
got
feel
some
confident.
we got some killers here.
Yeah.
One of them standing over there.
Yeah, I know.
Derek, he's crushing things.
New Vision shooter, new Zico shooter over there.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome stuff. So you said you left some points on the table. What's the stage you want to get back?
Oh man, it was the teeth off the bucket loader yesterday off the diamonds out at 900 yards, something like that.
853.
853. It hurt me. Just didn't get the first call right, and then just searching for it for like 5-6 shots. Finally found it, but by then damage is done.
Yeah, it's when you only got 10 shots, it's really hard to make up 7.
It is, and it's tough because yesterday I cleaned probably 4 stages and dropped 1 or 2 on a bunch, but you get that 1-7, man.
Yep. And I think I had like 3 cleans yesterday, 2 or 3 cleans, and then I got a bunch of 8s, 9s, and 7s, and then like 2, and then like
that's where it hurts you.
A 3, and then today I got a 1 on the helicopter.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's the stage you want to get back. It was a TYL of diamonds at 853 off of a
front end loader
bucket, like a forklift face. So that's the one you want to get back. Which one did you enjoy the most? Not the best, the one you did best on, but one you enjoyed the most.
Oh man, there's no all of them. This is a fantastic match.
Right.
I almost said a bad word there. It was a fantastic match.
I can hit the explicit button on this.
Okay, perfect. Well, with me, you need that. But no, fantastic match. I loved all the stages, the way they were set up, thought out. You know, there was some ones where it's more about, speed. Target's not small, but you got to move quick.
Yeah.
Right? Like the car today, right? There was a number of people that were timing out on that car. I missed my last shot because I timed out because all I did was drop my bag as I moved from position 1 to position 2 in 2 seconds. There it was.
I searched for a target and didn't get my shot off.
There you go. Yeah.
Yep.
And then there's some where it's lots of moving. You got to really be working it quick. You can't take your time. I really like how they set up. And then there's some stages obviously that were relatively easy, which you want to have 1 or 2 of those in there.
We have a guy that's in our squad. This is his first match ever.
Oh wow.
Ever.
Good for him coming out to a 2-day.
And he came out to a 2-day and he's shooting an unbraked 308. Yes. And
it weighed about 8 pounds.
It was in an Oryx chassis.
Oh God.
Had no bag. And then his scope was very underpowered. He didn't even shoot at the diamonds because he didn't have enough elevation.
Oh wow.
Not enough elevation.
Oh, just not enough adjustment to bail.
So they ended up taking his scope off and putting a Gen 2 on it for him. And then last night they took it out of that Oryx chassis and put it in a BA comp.
Yeah.
And then he shot much better today.
How much better did he do today?
Yeah. He didn't hit a target till his 4th stage yesterday.
Wow. But he probably had a great time.
Oh, he's loving it. He's like, now I got to figure out what I'm going to do and this and that. And he's like, I don't know where to get a rifle from. I'm like, you're the master of these arms.
This is why I love this sport. I think back to what was it? I think it was 2 years ago up at FDMM. Got similar thing. Guy showed up, never shot a match at all. Shows up to his 2-day match with similar things: 308, unbraked, just off the. And he couldn't hit the broadside of the barn all day long, but he had the best time. I think we were there. And then they ended up, because he was so coachable and so willing to listen.
I was there at that one.
And that's this community. They gave him a freaking rifle, right? And then Leopold came in and said, here's a scope as well. Set him up. That's the sport, man.
So we had one of the shooters in our squad, Jack. He had a bunch of extra stuff, and he just started ripping stuff off of another rifle. And was like, "Here, mix, match, this, that, the other thing." He's like, "Just make sure I get it back." And sure enough, they're out there right now, is breaking it down and getting the parts back. And man, it's super cool to see him. He's like, "Hey, this is my first time I'm out here. I'm just out here to check it out and have fun." And he's like, "This is the match that lined up with my schedule." So he's like, whether it's a 1-day or a 2-day, if it lines up with his schedule, it's the match he's going to come shoot. So I think we sunk our hooks into him. I think he's addicted. Because today, he hit steel at 800 yards.
First time he's probably ever done that.
Yeah, with a 308, he was making halfway decent wind calls, and we know he's not placing anywhere near the top. So
you're gonna help him a little bit, as we do for a new shooter.
So he was missing over here on the cattle gate. He was missing a target. and somebody's like, "Hey, go roll 2/10 out of his gun." So I just walked over and went click, click in between his movement, and then he pulled the trigger and impact. So he ended up getting some impacts, and I was like, "Okay, sweet, good."
You felt good about yourself.
Yeah.
So Mark did the exact same. Mark Vogel, one of our South Florida shooters, did the exact same thing. We had a guy that was shooting a suppressed 308 bolt gun. Not as light as that one, but pretty light. And he was having issues all weekend. On the second to last stage today, he was just trending high. Mark just walked up and didn't say anything. Just went, "Bloop. Impact.
That's awesome.
$5 to touch anybody's scope."
Yeah. It's gonna be free to touch yours because he's gonna spin it the wrong way.
Yeah, well, that's what Mark does. Yeah.
100%.
Mark's not going to give me impact.
So the one you want back is the diamonds, and you said your favorite was all of them. But
I love the whole course of fire. Okay, so if we're going to say my favorite, I really like the bust, whether you be in it or in the back of it. In the back where we only did 5 this time.
Right.
We normally do like 10. But that's up, down, left, right. It's a lot of moving, and I think it really shows how you are as a shooter because you're shooting off the bag. You're shooting from multiple different heights and positions. I really like that one. And of course, I did clean it, so
yeah, that's a plus.
It helps. It helps.
I cleaned yesterday, and I got an 8 today, so I'm happy with both of those.
Yeah.
So let's ask you this: I know generally what you're running. You're probably running a 25 Creed. You're probably running some type of fancy scope. But didn't you just switch gear? And this is your first match with that.
Great
with
segue.
that?
Yes. So I, along with Derek Warren, we just switched over to the new Vision PRC Pro chassis out of Norway. In his new gear. You know what? And I will say that I think that chassis is a big part of why I shot so well this weekend. Obviously, practice, showing up, doing all the things. I was here, a month ago for the one day?
Yeah, it was about a month ago.
About a month ago, and it's similar course of fire, and I shot about a 75%, which is 75 to 85, maybe 90 in a big one day is where I'm at, down south.
Yeah.
That's true.
No, 20-30 shooters.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Shooters.
Oh, okay.
Not 120 in a one day.
But and then showing up here with the new literally had not shot it until I showed up on training up day on Friday, and it has shot fantastic all weekend. That chassis coupled with that 25 Creed that really just cheats the wind. 330 DC at 135 grain bullet.
And you got a pretty decent gunsmith. He's all right.
Rick's all right. GCP, Rifle Co. down in Venice. Definitely my gunsmith. Has been for years, good friend. Rick is a fantastic guy, and he sells great products, man.
Yeah.
He really does.
So there was a few of those chassis out here, like you said, you and Derek, but also Jeff Geary was on one, and I kind of talked to him about it. He's really liking it because he tested a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah.
He really likes it. He's got some high regards for it.
Yeah.
Jeff likes it as much as Jeff changes gear.
That's
a big plus.
Jeff's a picky shooter when it comes to his gear. I was talking to Rick, and Jeff ordered one. He's not getting them for free, so let's be clear on that. Jeff ordered one, paid for it, and then ordered 2 more because he liked it so bad or so much. It's a fantastic chassis. I mean, the foundation is really known for that dead recoil feel.
Right.
And as a chassis, it's metal. You're not going to get the same thing as a foundation, but compared to some of the other offerings, and I don't want to name it, some of the other offerings out there, it definitely has a deadened recoil impulse, which I think really helps with that split second follow up, watching that bullet move, go down towards the target. I think that's a competitive advantage for sure.
Okay. Overall, how do you think we've shot these matches a lot? We've shot at MPA a bunch. I shot a whole series of 1 days. I've shot 2 days. You've shot the 2 days up here. It's one of the closest 2 days for you guys.
He's the closest 2 days for us.
Down south. So, in comparison to how the range started to how the range is now, and how the matches first started to how the range is run now, what are some thoughts?
Night and day. So when we first showed up here, right? I mean, I think we had Blue was there, but there was basically nothing to the left of the concrete firing line. I think maybe the MPA barricade was there, but the amount of work Eric already has done here, opening up the range, finding new cuts to make for firing lines, putting in the covers. This building we're sitting in right now, I mean, this place,
and it's constant upgrade because before it had lights, but it didn't have all the outlets, and now it's got spray foam insulation, and it's got walls, and it's they're putting a lot of work in there, and it's not just Eric, it's also Jill.
Right.
Jill's doing a lot around here to make sure that the shooters, have what they need, have what they want. Like they're turning it into a destination location as much as they can for Swainsboro.
Yeah, I mean, it really. I mean, everyone compares everything to Cade, the Augusta National of shooting sports.
Right.
Nothing's gonna beat that. But this is a fantastic facility, and I don't know if you follow Pool Acres or Eric on Facebook.
Yeah, I follow Eric. Yeah,
they're always doing something.
He's always on an excavator doing something, pushing dirt,
Him and the
moving
dog.
props. Like they're always doing something, which is super, super awesome.
Yeah.
Any last shout outs? Products that you run or products you believe in, also known as sponsors?
Well, I am an unsponsored shooter. For everyone out there, if they're looking to sponsor a top tier mid-pack shooter, I'm available.
He's a free agent.
Yeah, I'm a free agent right now. But no, I mean, talk about vision. That's my chassis. Rick Scrivens at GCP Rifle Co. is my gunsmith. Will be forever. Running that 25, the hard barrel. Area 419 products have been fantastic for me. Burger bullets. Everything I run.
What scope are you running?
I just upgraded to the Vortex Gen 3.
Oh, okay.
Coming off of the Athlon Cronus for 4 years now.
Wow,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I mean, that's the
an
reaction
improvement.
everyone got. I can't believe you're still running that. Well, it hasn't held me back until it started holding me back, and it was time to upgrade. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm an unsponsored shooter, so everything I run because I believe in it. It works for me. It's been consistent.
And you paid for it.
And I paid for it. I wouldn't pay for it if I didn't like it, right? So yeah, I think the biggest shout out we got to give is to our South Florida boy, Mark Vogel. I mean, he had a rough day today. Ended up, I think he's 7th last I looked, but he was running first place into yesterday. Definitely top pro. So I got to give him props. He shot fantastic.
Yeah, Mark was crushing it yesterday for sure. Finished the day at number 1, and if he finishes in top 10 with the caliber of shooters that are here,
he's got to be happy about that.
Yeah, whether he goes from 1st to 7th or 10th or whatever.
Whatever.
You can't be mad at that.
You cannot be mad at your shooters today. Win got him, and like it got everybody. It's luck of the draw sometimes.
And how did you manage it? And that's what it comes down to. Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you hopping on here, and we got some guys funneling in, so we'll see if we can snag some others. Awesome.
Cool.
Appreciate
good,
you coming on.
Great talking to you, Mike.
Yep. All right, I grabbed another shooter. This one happens to be for my squad, so we battled it out all weekend. Mr. Ryan, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Ryan Allison, North Georgia. Been shooting for 4 or 5 years, I guess. Met Guy, Alabama last year, I guess. We've become friends ever since. Been hanging out. Well, not really hanging out, but hanging out at
matches and shit, yeah.
So,
what are you shooting?
25 Creedmoor.
Chassis?
MPA.
Which MPA?
The Matrix.
Matrix or Matrix Pro?
Matrix Pro.
Matrix Pro?
Yep.
Glass?
Leopold Mark 5 PR2.
Brake or suppressed?
Brake.
Tuner, no tuner?
I got the fat tuner on there, actually.
Okay.
But I got it on there because I went to a bigger caliber, so helping with the blast. Mm-hmm. And I really didn't realize it was actually a tuner until I got it. I was like, oh, this is a tuner too.
I just ordered it.
Yeah,
it was
I
great.
ordered it for the blast. But it actually helps with the blast. And I didn't really have to tune it, really. Like I say, I didn't buy it for the tuner.
Right.
So I just bought it for the blast.
What gunsmith are you using?
Priest Precision.
Priest? Okay.
Yep.
How do you think that your 25 did in the wind this weekend?
Actually, pretty good.
Okay.
I mean, if the shooter done his part, he'd probably do a lot better. But, yeah, I mean, there's advantages. Not a lot in some areas, but I feel like at further distances, I feel like it kind of cheats a little bit. Not necessarily cheats, but it has its advantages. So
right.
That high BC bullet, shooting the Burger 135s. So.
I mean, if you can get a bullet at a 330 BC, I mean, it's gonna do some.
Well, it's like
work.
Eric Cortina says, does that thing on the Facebook, which bullet, which bullet holds the wind better, bullet with lower BC or high BC, they're shooting the same speed, that thing he does or whatever. So, I mean, it's obvious, but
100%.
Then again, the shooter's got to do his part.
So with the shooter having to do his part, what's the stage that you wish you could go back out there and reshoot right now?
The wheels fell off on the bus.
The wheels fell off on the bus.
I was singing that song because my daughter, little 3-year-old daughter, she's on her TV or TT or what that she calls it. The wheels on the bus go round and round. So my wheels fell off.
Wheels fell off.
Well, the wheels fell off.
Which bus? Day 1 bus or day 2 bus?
Well, it would be day 1 bus, but we shot on day 2.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So today's
inside the bus.
So stage 1.
Stage 1 inside the bus.
Stage 1 inside the bus.
Yep.
Wheels fell off there. Just couldn't make that one connect.
Oh, well, we got there right at daylight, and we always shoot the diamonds. Like, always. I've never shot anything besides the diamonds, and I looked at the diamonds all morning, like, yeah, all right. And I get up there, put my tripod in, bag in, shoot the diamond high. Shoot the diamond again high. Somebody hollers, wrong target. What the heck? So
move over, and
find the right target.
Yep.
That usually helps if you're shooting the right target. It was just a disaster from there. So timed out and everything else.
So bus day 1, what's the stage that you really liked that not necessarily did the best on, but you thought was the best laid out or the most fun to shoot?
I'm a mover guy.
Okay.
I'm a mover guy. I've always shot hunting, shooting coyotes, and anything in hunting. You always had to shoot in pigs, wild hogs, as far as the lead wise.
Yep.
As a mover, same way. Alabama, don't matter. I love shooting a mover.
Okay, fantastic. And that was a stationary target at 6, and then a mover at like 618.
Yep.
What were you holding? What were you holding on the mover?
Holding on the mover. I took somebody's advice, but 1.5
was a little much.
And it was a little much, so I kept having to come in, and I think I missed 2 shots, and finally found it on the 3rd shot. It was 1.2, both directions.
Got it.
So.
And overall, what do you think of the match? Like, as far as we've got. Eric's doing work out here all the time, so the range is never the same from match to match. He's always changing it and making something new or putting a new berm in or moving dirt or moving props. Overall, from your experience here at Cool Acres, how did you like the match this weekend and how kind of everything flowed? And
everything laid out good. Obviously, you want to shoot more on day 1, so to make it earlier on day 2. But I get it, you want to be fair to everybody.
Right.
But the match layout was good because there's, like I say, there's always something different.
Yep.
Always something, and that give out credit to Eric because he's always implying new stuff. Mm-hmm. So, and that keeps everybody on their toes, so it's not the same old junk or whatever.
Okay. So. Real quick, they're getting ready to get started, but cool. Shout outs. You got any sponsors or any shout outs? Anybody?
Just the Cool Acres, MPA for always having my back and getting me anything I need. Priest Precision always for my barrels, and just all the friends. I mean, that's why I do it. I enjoy it. I'm not a great shooter. I just enjoy it. I just like being around cool
I'm going to call you a good shooter. Awesome.
But anyway,
appreciate your time, sir.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
All right, brother. We're doing it.
All right.
All right. I'm going to move this just a little bit closer.
Okay.
All right. Much better. All right. Fantastic. So, if y'all don't know who this is, I wouldn't feel bad because this is his first match ever, right? His first match ever was a national 2-day match down here at Cool Acres, and Mr. Clay decided to come out. So we talk a lot about, hey, just come out and shoot what you have, and people are just going to throw gear at you to shoot and use, and we're going to sit there and we're going to tell you about stuff, and we're going to help prop you up so you can start getting impacts. And that's exactly what we did with Mr. Clay here. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Clay Hinely from Springfield, Georgia.
Springfield, Georgia. Okay. So you showed up and you were running a
MDT Oryx chassis.
Yep.
And a Remington 700 LTR and 308.
Unbraked.
Unbraked 20-inch barrel.
And what optic were you running again?
A Burris full field 4.
And that was like a second focal plane or something like that?
Yes.
And it only had, how much adjustment in it?
We were good to 600 yards.
Good to 600 yards. Did that even have like a holdover reticle in it, or is it just straight duplex? Or
it had a holdover reticle in it.
Okay, it did. Okay. Now, we started on the bus, and you'd never shot a match before.
Nope.
And we went up there, and we're like, oh, this is going to be fun. This is going to be interesting. He's going to get his feet wet, and you sure did, mainly because it was raining. But you went up there, first stage, You only got a couple of shots off. Kind of figured out where we were going. Next stage, same thing. It was the hay baler. We all, even the good guys, had a hard time with it. And you didn't get your first impact until about the 4th stage.
Correct.
But by the end of the day,
Yep.
you were hitting some targets. We switched out your scope with a Gen 2 Razor.
Well, we got to an 800 yard, and I didn't have enough scope and adjustment.
Oh, that's right. We did. We shot those diamonds.
And so I took a 0.
Right.
And then they said, no, don't do that. We're going to put a scope on there that you can shoot.
Yeah.
And so they put a scope on, and then I wound up with a 3.
You wound up with a 3, so we put a scope on. And then last night, one of the guys in our squad threw a chassis at you as well. He threw you a BA comp. Now, nothing wrong with that Oryx chassis, but it's got some flex in it. And that MDT BA comp that you were running today, super stiff, super solid.
Yep.
You did really good today. You were hitting some. You hit the piano keys.
Yep.
You were hitting some of the long range stuff. You
Yep.
were hitting the short range stuff. You were hitting the small stuff.
Yep.
You were doing really good. Now, granted, your first match, you weren't taking any trophies. You weren't taking home any hardware.
No.
But you're taking home, I think, a smile
Absolutely. Had a great time.
and an itch to maybe do this a little more.
Sure.
You got something good off the prize table too.
Yep.
You picked up a 6.5 millimeter Hellfire match break from Area 419, so that's awesome. And then with a little bit of knowledge, right?
Yeah.
You got a little bit of knowledge. Okay, some things that are maybe going to work, some things that are definitely not going to work.
Some things to improve on.
Some things to improve on. I think you mentioned it. One of the first things you're going to purchase is a bag.
Yeah, we got to have a bag.
Got to have a bag, so you're going to make that purchase. So on my show, I always say, hey, what do you want to tell the new shooter? And everybody says, just bring your gear and come out. That's exactly what you did.
Absolutely.
And I'm not saying that you listen to my show, but with just signing up and coming out to a match with whatever you had at your house, do you, like, you're saying you had a good time, but what was the ambiance of the match for you? Was it a successful match? Was it what you expected it to be? Was the squad helpful, kind, encouraging, like there to help you out? I know I twisted your turrets for you on a stage once, and then you started nailing some impacts at 650 or whatever it was. Give us your account of this match.
So the biggest problem I had is, from my background, I'd never shot with a bag. And so that was the hardest thing to get situated and make sure it's turned the right way. And but everybody was helpful. They all had good constructive criticism. Nobody talked down to me. It was not like it was a situation where you're doing this wrong or you're doing this wrong. It's like, look, try this or look at it this way. And make small adjustments, and other than they're a bunch of enablers, because they're like, here, try this, here, shoot this, here, no, take this. But it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed the company. I enjoyed the fellowship. I enjoyed meeting new people, and I'll be back.
You will be back.
Yep, May the 4th.
May the 4th be with you.
That's right.
So you're coming back. Are you? And you're close by, so this would probably be one of your closer ranges that has this event.
Hour and 20 minutes from me.
Okay, yeah. So this is probably the closest that you've got. What was the stage? What's the stage that you want back? That if you could go out there and reshoot it, which one would you want to reshoot right now?
That 1,000-yard target, I missed it. I kicked dust up, and it was so close, And at 1,000 yards, I mean, that's a 23-foot holdover.
Yeah.
So to just miss it by that much, it was a lot.
And what was your favorite stage of the whole match?
Yesterday, the one that was it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yep.
And then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, that one was a good one. So I don't remember what targets they were, but it was big to small, small to big.
Yeah, and it was like 550 or 560.
Yeah,
it was a good. It was good range.
It was good. It was a good push. Nothing crazy, but it was a good push. So that was your favorite one. Do you remember what you scored on that?
I think I had 3 hits.
3 hits, but just a fun stage.
Yeah, just the rhythm worked, and it wasn't dialing. So once I knew I was on and had that confidence, and I could
keep going. Okay, so what if you do come back? Are you going to bring the kind of the same loadout, or are you looking at maybe checking and seeing what else you may have in the safe to bring out here and try out, or you looking at maybe do you have a new hobby?
Well, I enjoy the research and the developing, but the biggest thing was the exposure to see all the different stuff, because a lot of times when you go into a store, it's not real world. So
yeah, absolutely.
To be able to hold it, to be able to look through it, to be able to see it, in use, and also on the range and see the different things and try to listen to what everybody else is seeing. That makes a big difference.
Okay. Well, and I'll give you my contact info, but if you have questions or anything like that, please hit me up and we can try and steer you somewhat in the right direction. You just got to watch, like we said, you walked the prize table and you scored a really solid piece of equipment. That's pretty much all I run is the Hellfire brakes, with the exception of the tuner that I'm running. But yeah, solid product. What do you want to say? You're no longer a first-time shooter.
That's right.
You've shot your first match. It was a tough match.
Yep.
What do you want to say to that guy that's listening to this and saying, "Oh man, I want to go try that," but you've done it, so you can. It's been a long time since I've shot my first match. What's it? What's your advice?
It's intimidating. Come with a good attitude. Don't throw things and beat yourself up, because you just you have to do it.
Right.
You talk about it all day long. You read about it all day long. You watch videos all day long, but the actual doing it, and it took half of that first day for me to even begin to feel comfortable.
Right.
But this morning, those jitters were gone. Things, I could start making sense and start processing it, and it was a good thing. It was a good day.
Sweet. Any last closing comments, and I'll let you get back on the road?
No, just come do it. And it was a good facility. The weather was crappy yesterday. But the nice thing about this is everybody has to do. We're all on the same playing field.
We're all in the same spot.
Whether you're shooting stage 1 or stage 20, you're dealing with the same wind, sun, weather, rain. Everybody's dealing with it. So
sweet.
It's pretty even.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming on, Clay. It was a pleasure shooting with you this weekend and having fun and doing all the stuff. So I really appreciate you coming out and at least giving it a shot. And hopefully we got our teeth sunk in you and you're going to keep coming back.
I will be.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.